couple of states reopening for business following the coronavirus lockdowns, how responsible will restaurant owners be if patrons contract the virus while dining?
In many cases, I think it'll be very, very difficult, especially because the virus has such a long incubation period. So it's possible during that time that the person was exposed in a number of different places.
We spoke to two lawyers to find out what restaurant owners must contend with once reopened for business. Proof of causation is the integral part.
So to show proof of where a person actually contracted the disease, odds are there'd be many other people that also contracted the disease. It's typically not just one person. If a person gets food poisoning from an establishment, let's say they had bad clams or something, unless they're the only person who happened to order clams for that day, they're not the only one that's going to get it.
What measures would restaurant owners have to take to ensure public safety against the virus?
They might print menus and toss them out. That's one option. They might have menus with plastic covers that could be wiped down between uses. It might be, traditionally a lot of restaurants would put menus on a chalkboard and just display that, and people wouldn't actually touch it. So there are ways to do things that are less risky, and making sure that surfaces are clean and wiped down, wearing masks, having people stay at an appropriate distance apart from each other.
Is it likely that a consumer would have to sign a waiver before dining in a restaurant, much like riding a roller coaster at an amusement park?
The problem with waivers is that the courts don't like waivers, because what a waiver does is it makes it easier for a person not to do what they're supposed to do. Because if a person says, hey, let a person sign this, and then I don't have to worry about providing a safe environment for that person, it's much easier and cheaper for me to get someone to sign something. Amusement parks, there's statutory law. A person can't sign a waiver, and if the car comes off the rails on a roller coaster, that's not going to, the amusement park's not going to escape liability.
We spoke to a few people to get their thoughts on dining out once the stay-at-home restrictions are lifted.
If the restaurants take the precautions and sanitize everything, I'm totally fine with it, just as long as they're following guidelines and stuff like that.
I think it's important for our small businesses to be able to flourish after this. I think they lost a lot, so I think it's important. I don't know how restaurants, if we're still going to be distance in restaurants, I think everyone's just going to be happy that they're open, ready to help them and stuff, but I think everyone's just going to be nervous about what's going on, what's touching what and stuff. So
hospitality attorney Tom Janarone spoke about bar anticipation, a restaurant he has worked with for years in terms of social distancing.
Bar anticipation probably has it a little bit easier than a lot of places, because places like DJs and other smaller places that are packed, and there is no outside. They don't really have the ability to expand their footprint. So I think that the places like bar anticipation have a large outside that can allow some more social distancing.
Reporting for New Jersey News Network, I'm Kimberly Jade.